10 a.m. on Tuesday, October 27th, 2020, and this is 10 on Tuesdays. I'm going to start with a couple statistics today. 81% of shoppers conduct research online before buying, and studies show that between 70 to 80% of people research a company online before visiting a small business or making a purchase with them. With that in mind, let's think about this, and this I can totally relate to. 66% of small business owners are personally responsible for 3 or more of the following areas of their business: operations, finance, sales, marketing, HR, customer service, product development, or IT. So with the pandemic pushing people to the web for networking, promotion, and sales, it's more important than ever to improve your digital presence. But don't throw up your hands yet and give in, because today we are talking with digital entrepreneur Tracy Champagne of TLC Digital Media. I'm Holly Hoffman, founding partner and CEO of the Sales and Income Tax Advisory Network. Prior to creating my company, I worked for the Wisconsin Department of Revenue as an auditor, speaker, and sales tax specialist. My passion is to help provide sales tax education and support to tax professionals, businesses, and associations with the goal of building a network of empowered taxpayers. For more information, visit salesandincometax.com. Thank you for joining my web chats, 10 on Tuesdays, every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 a.m. You can check out previous episodes on my 10 on Tuesday channel. To find my channel, go to salesandincometax.com. Look for the 10 on Tuesdays logo. You can click on that logo to register for our weekly webinar, or you can click on Watch Previous Episodes right below that logo to access the 10 on Tuesdays channel. So now let me formally introduce my guest today, Tracy Champagne. Tracy, I want you to just share a little bit about your background with the audience today.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Holly. A little bit about my background. I've been studying website design for about 15 years now. I've always been self-employed, so marketing has always been very top of the priority when it comes to getting business for your business. So I started with website design. That led me into social media marketing, and then that led me to everything else that digital marketing offers, including SEO, blog writing, email, newsletters, anything of that sort. So that's a little bit about my background.
I like that. So you live this. This is what you live and breathe your whole work day.
Yes, all day, even on the weekends.
So I have a few questions for you, and I kind of want to start with, I have your contact information, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about some of the things you do for small businesses, and I have on the screen Small Business Milwaukee and Up North Wisconsin. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about those, like maybe how they came about or what they involve.
Sure. So the Small Business Milwaukee, I started just as a Facebook page about 5 or 6 years ago when I was trying to create a way to get some clients. And then I realized that in order for me to get some clients, people are going to have to see what I do in action. So, and at the time, I really wanted to target social media clients. So I created the Small Business Milwaukee Facebook page, and it did very, very well in the beginning. And that led me to then build a website for the Small Business Milwaukee. Jump forward 5 years after learning a whole lot more about the digital marketing space, I redesigned the website a year and a half ago now. And we still offer the same things, website design, social media marketing, email marketing, SEO, all those aspects of it. But we've also included a new membership where we will write a feature article for your business. So it's sort of not like a press release, but it sensationalizes your business and makes you stand out and look like an authority and an expert in your field. And we also have a great growing directory on our website where you can have a listing in our website or listing in the directory with all of the content that you would like to have in there, which is great for SEO and backlinks back to your site. And then on top of that, we take that feature article and that directory listing and we push it out on all of our social media channels and announce to everybody that you are part of our membership and that you're a trusted business and that we know you and respect you. And then people will, it's like referrals and word of mouth, but on social media. So that was born just a few months ago. And we actually have a link right here for you to join the free directory. And that is just to join for free. And then we will also put you out on social media to get some attention. So I expect everybody to take advantage of that if you're in the Milwaukee area.
Yes. And you mentioned backlinks, and I didn't understand backlinks until a few months ago. So can you just briefly explain backlinks and what that means?
Sure, those are links that are going to your site from other people's website. And the more other people's websites that are pointing to your website will give you more benefit in search. So Google will recognize you as an authority in the website in the search space. The more links that go back to your site, the better they'll feel that you're a legit company.
Awesome. And that's important for people to have on their businesses. So this is a good place if you're in the Milwaukee area to list your business. Now you have Up North Wisconsin. What is that?
So that is a website that I started about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. I have two places. I have a place in Greenfield and I have a place up near Minocqua area. And so I spent a lot of time up in the Minocqua area. And I wanted to build a directory for all the businesses in the up north area. So I think we have on there about 14 or 15 cities or towns that would be considered in the up north Wisconsin area. And I created it because we were running into a lot of problems where we couldn't find people. We would look on the internet. A lot of businesses don't have an internet presence online. And I thought, how can I make an inexpensive way for businesses up here to be found easier than people searching all over the place and having to really dig in the internet, because a lot of the businesses aren't focusing on digital marketing up in the Northwoods area.
Right.
So to help them out with that, I created the Up North Wisconsin site, wisconsinite.com. I have a lot of fun on the Facebook page. That we have a lot of followers up there who really like Up North Wisconsin, and we put out some quotes and some great images. Actually, this morning I just took the first image of ice on the lake, and I did post that on there. So yeah, I know it's only October 27th, but there's
I
ice on
know.
the lake up here. So that's a great informational piece and going to be very helpful as it continues to grow. It's about 3/4 of the way ready for where we are ready to really push it out. There's a lot of content on it already. So if you want to take a peek at it, go ahead and definitely join the Facebook page.
Yes. And I kind of laugh. I lived in Milwaukee for like 11 years, and I always used to laugh because originally I'm from Merrill, which is northern Wisconsin. And when I was in Milwaukee, everyone would talk about going up north. And I just laughed that you have Up North Wisconsin because in Milwaukee, up north meant like Fond du Lac. And I was always like, what? Okay. So those are great things, and that basically covers most of Wisconsin. We have, eventually you're gonna have to expand to Madison and La Crosse area.
Yeah, I need to get those underway first, though.
Right, right. So another thing, I just switched slides on the screen, and I wanted to ask you, this is something I've been asking everyone, but how did the pandemic impact you and your business? What changes did it bring about? I feel like since you're digital content, it was great for you and didn't impact you at all. But what possible changes did it cause for you?
Well, before the pandemic, I was spending a lot of time in coffee shops and doing networking events at local businesses, which was great. I really like to do the networking. It's sort of the lifeblood of referrals and building more of my network. And um, when the pandemic hit, the first thing I thought of was not am I going to have enough work, or how is the work gonna, or how's the pandemic going to affect my clients? It was, how am I going to do this networking still? And because I really needed to do the networking, how was I going to see people, and how was that going to work? So I was familiar with Zoom and the Zoom environment, and I knew right away that I could put the networking events on Zoom right away. Whether or not anybody would come was a totally different question, because I had no idea how much experience people had with Zoom at the time. It wasn't being used as often as it could be, because this had been around for a while now.
Hmm.
And so I just thought, well, I'm just going to start with 2 networking events a week. And that started, I think, towards the end of March. I was already doing that. And so it was a slow start, but now we're doing pretty well. I've got some regular attendees coming to all the events. I have one on Monday nights, and I have one Thursday afternoons. And we have a lot of fun, and we're referring people to each other. We are expanding our knowledge. We're staying in communication with each other. It's been a great support tool for businesses. And I encourage anybody who has a business, whether you're in Milwaukee, up north, or anywhere, to try and attend them, because it is a really nice group of people that I get to see a couple times a week, which is great. So,
Yeah, and how much learning you get from that camaraderie and networking and hearing how other people are dealing with things is just so important. And
hmm
it's amazing the information you pick up and improve in your business. And I do have that up on the screen, and I know you won't be able to click on the Zoom links, but I've asked Tracy to shoot me an email after the webinar today, and then I can send it out to the attendees so that you can join the networking events. Again, Monday at 6 p.m. and Thursdays at 2 p.m.
right.
So,
Yeah, and aside from the networking events, I'd say that my client work had really stepped up shortly after that. And then putting on COVID updates on their websites or their social media channels. And then there was a little bit of a break. And I thought, okay, now I can spend a little bit more time on my projects and my extra side things. But then out of the networking came these one-on-one things with everybody on Zoom. And then before you know it, anytime you made a LinkedIn connection, now you're being asked to do a one-on-one. And how cool is that? You get to meet all these people and
right.
you grow your network. But that got to be a little overwhelming come early summer, where you're spending all day meeting people, and you're, because it's so cool and everybody's doing it and it's so fun, and then you realize that you're not getting your work done as fast. so
Yes.
then there had to be a time where you had to build a little bit of a balance into your day, and I think I've finally come to that balance, which is great. So as far as business goes, I've been getting a lot of business and have had to hire some help. So
And a lot of people still need this additional online presence assistance. It's overwhelming when you start to look into it and what should I do? And you got social media and you got website and you got all different areas, what networking groups to participate in. We got webinars and we got podcasts, and it's just a sea, a sea that you can totally get lost in. So
hmm
being able to turn to someone who has some experience or can, get you started is ideal. I know you're
yeah.
doing in that line, you're going to be doing some webinars, and I can't remember if you said it was with the Small Business Milwaukee or
Yes.
what, but where you're doing webinars and you have topics in the webinars. And I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about that and a couple of the topics that you might
Yeah,
talk about.
so webinars are becoming a pretty popular thing, and I've got a whole lot of marketing information overflowing in my brain. So I thought that we could do some marketing webinars coming up in November. And it's kind of there, it's for two reasons, because there's a lot of people that are entering the webinar space that may not have been in it before. I do have some people that I work with that are really starting to dig into webinar and presentations. And there's no better way for me to give advice on webinars other than to dive in and do it myself. So that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is because I do have a growing community and a network that I'd love to offer some more marketing information to, and um, and add an element of fun into their day. I try to have fun on all my networking events, and I try to make everybody laugh. So you'll expect to hopefully have a good time and learn some marketing information.
I know one of the topics you touch on in that is perfectionism. And I know with our guest from Action Coach the other day, that's something we talked about at Action Coach. And it's something I had told you was drilled into my head while I was at DOR. Of course, it's important that a government agency doesn't publish any information that is an error or misleading. But now it's something that I deal with, just putting out my general marketing stuff. But can you talk a little bit about perfectionism and how that can uh, hamstring you for marketing?
Sure. So when I first started working on website design and social media and all those elements of digital marketing, I thought in order for people to really for it to work, it had to be perfect. I had to have the fonts perfect. I had to have the colors perfect. I had to have the message perfect. And then as I really got into marketing more, yes, you want your things to look good. You want your photos to look good. You want everything to look good. But when it comes to especially social media, it's in and out within a couple of days. So say you're putting on a webinar, you create a nice graphic for it. You put a little bit of verbiage on it, but don't spend all your time on the graphic trying to make it perfect. You want to spend more time on your content, your delivery at your webinar. I it's hard to say, but you want to make a little bit of a balance. The problem with perfectionism is that you can get stuck and you can't move forward because you're trying to make one piece of it perfect when you should be looking at the whole picture. You don't want to spend all your time on one little piece. You want to be looking at the whole picture. And if that means you've got to just take it as you've done it, and so you can move on to something else, then you should allow yourself to do that. Otherwise, you won't be able to move forward. And there's a lot of elements to digital marketing. So
Yes. The other thing, and I kind of mentioned like all the different areas, the social media, the website, and then, other things that you can do. Do you have a certain order that you suggest people tackle their online presence with or their marketing? Is there, um, I don't know, do you have any suggestions or ideas on what order to do things?
hmm The other day I was on another person's networking event, and they asked me, if out of all the things that you do, what's one of the skills that you think you are better at than others? And I said, well, I think I can help look into the future on what you're going to have to do for your digital marketing, because I can see you tell me what you want as your end result, and I can tell you which steps are going to get you there because I'm familiar with how they all connect. So typically, the first thing you want to do is have a good website to send everybody to from your social, your email marketing, um, your from all those other sources, and you want to send them back to your website. But sometimes, depending on the type of work that you do and your budget, there's things that you can do to get started with digital marketing, even if you didn't have a website. So maybe you start with like a one-page website with a lead capture form on there to retain email addresses so you can send out a newsletter and don't focus on social media or on any of the other things. So it really just depends on where you are and what your budget is. And once you can explain to me what your goal is and what your budget is, then I can help you with different options on how to get to that goal, if
So
that
it's
makes
really
sense.
individual, yep, and
hmm
it really is depending on the business and the person running the business, what their intentions are.
Right, right. And I work hand in hand with the business owners or the people that are responsible for the marketing part of the business, because the ultimate goal is for them to achieve the goal that they're looking for, and every business has different goals. So I just try to help them achieve that goal.
True. Yep. What else? What are you seeing? Are you noticing any trends as a result of COVID-19? Anything that you think people should focus on or seize on right now that is huge or a good place to
Well,
focus?
for digital marketing aspect, if you don't have an online store already and you are selling products or services, you should get one. Because people are not, they're still wanting to shop. They're still wanting to buy from local environment or local places. But if you don't have something on your website or even on Facebook, you can put in a little bit of a shop area in there too. If you don't have a way for people to purchase from you, you're just going to struggle during these times because not as many people are going out to physical locations. So that would be one really good piece of advice.
Yeah.
And the other one is to get out and do some networking. Um, Tell people about what you're doing, that you're still out there. Do some advertising, do some promoting. Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there and you want to be heard.
Right. And I think that's, what I was getting from, I was reading as much as I could at the beginning of the pandemic when we had the shutdown and what to do and how to stay relevant. And I just kept hearing the same thing over and over again. You just need to be out there talking, and people need to see you, so that you're top of mind. You don't want to
Right,
fade away.
right, exactly.
I was going to ask you why networking, but I guess we just answered that.
Yeah, networking, it really does tie in a lot of the key points on your business. I'm a strong believer in networking.
True. And I think, people networked before and probably didn't think about it much, all the events or the places you go to. You go out to dinner, you run into people and you're networking, and you don't even realize it. And now you just have to make that effort a little more. It's not the normal. Um,
Right. But I have found on networking on virtual, like Zoom or any of the other virtual platforms, there's a lot of perks that you don't have when you're networking in person. So, for example, when you're networking in person, you may talk to the person across the table from you, or to your right, or to your left. You may hear everybody's elevator pitch. You'll hear what they do. You may have talked to them at previous networking events, but you're not going to be able to talk to everybody. On the Zoom networking events, you literally have an opportunity to talk to everybody. So even if you don't actually get to talk to them during the event, there's a chat on the side that will allow you to privately message them and set up a one-on-one so you can talk to them at another time. So that in itself is a really nice perk for virtual networking.
yes. And I think the thing I love most about virtual events, it's hard to acclimate, but um, is the save time of traveling. You can
Hmm.
meet people that you wouldn't have normally met. They can be across the state, out of state, whatever, and you can be in the same place, in the same room. So that's great too. And I can't believe it. We are towards the end of our time. So I want to thank you, Tracy, for coming on and taking time out of your day to talk to us. I think everyone needs help with their digital media and digital presence, and to have someone that they can trust and go to is helpful. So I hope everyone checks Tracy out and checks out her website, tracychampagne.com. Make sure you scroll down to the bottom of the website and check out all the different links that she has. And within that is the Up North Wisconsin and the Small Business Milwaukee links. So check that out. Next week, we're talking with Mike Griffin, the CFO of JP Cullen, and we're going to be talking about purchasing trends in the construction industry. So I'm really curious to talk about this. There's a lot going on in the construction industry, and so I'm interested to hear what he has to say and what he's seen. And the week after that, November 10th, I'm talking with Brad Boyks, the executive director of the Wisconsin Builders Association, and we're going to be talking about the election results and what that means for businesses, what might be in store. I hope to God that we have results by then. And then upcoming guests I have also include 2 multi-state tax guests. We have Avalera coming on, Scott Peterson and Chad Paulson. And then a later date in December 15th, Craig Johnson, the executive director of Streamline Sales Tax Governing Board, is returning. And he told me that he has something to announce December 15th. So I'm excited to hear that. Don't miss the interview with Representative John Mako for November 24th. We're going to talk about the future of sales tax laws and simplification of that tax law. So don't miss that discussion. To rewatch this episode or to view previous episodes of 10 on Tuesdays, go to salesandincometax.com. Check out my 10 on Tuesdays channel, and I will see you all next week. Thank you, Tracy, for joining us. Have a good week.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me, Holly.